All right, folks, for those of you listening on the podcast feed, we are just about to go live on YouTube with Dockside at the Bay. And we are about to share. I hate that YouTube always pops up with this. Is this video made for kids? No, it's not. All
Not
right.
necessarily. The Bay is not exactly the most kid-friendly program out there. So,
No, it's not. But we're going to go ahead and share this link here and posting, and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dockside at the Bay, episode number 16. Today is May 7th, 2024, and we are kicking everything into high gear. As always, I am Vinnie. This is Kim.
hello,
And,
everybody.
and Kim, before we even get into any kind of news or anything, tell everybody about your weekend.
Well, this past weekend, I was not only celebrating my birthday, I was celebrating my birthday in Sarasota, Florida, at an event for an organization called Samantha's Friends, which is an amazing organization, charitable foundation that raises just money for incredible causes, including trying to find shelter dogs for making sure that like veterans and people have shelter dogs and have service dogs. And also just it's an incredible organization that puts on these incredible events, usually twice a year. And this event happened to include a lot of cast members from the Bay, and also Gregory Martin happened to be in attendance as well. So I had the opportunity to meet up with Gregory Martin, the creator, the showrunner, director, everything involved with the Bay, as well as some of the cast. And it was incredible. It was a lot of fun getting a chance to get to speak with these guys in person. And we even got to make a cool little video kind of promoting the podcast. And it was an amazing time. And yes, so I it's all over my there's photos on my Twitter page, my personal Misfit 8690. If anyone wants to find me on Twitter, you can see some more information about the event there. You can also give Samantha's Friends a follow because, like I said, an amazing organization that puts on these really cool events with soap opera people and dogs to raise money just for it was a lovely weekend and a lot of fun. And yeah, I got to meet some cast and crew and the head honcho for the show that we've been discussing for all these weeks now. So it
And
was a
that is
lot.
awesome. And Kim did send me that video. I will go ahead and post it up on our YouTube page for all to see as a teaser. I tried to put it up as the teaser trailer for the podcast feed, but it somehow it doesn't accept videos. So I don't know. We're gonna
Not
have
cooperating for us. That's
oh,
unfortunate.
but I don't know. Maybe it'll figure it out from the website instead of the phone. But anyways, um, so as always, welcome to Dockside of the Bay. Kim had a fantastic weekend. Oh, happy belated birthday!
Thank you. Thank
What
you.
was your what day is your birthday?
Well, so my birthday was last Thursday, May 2nd.
May 2nd. Oh, okay, fantastic. Uh,
Yep.
actually, the
Tried to
same
forget,
birthday as The
tried to
Rock.
forget about the fact that I was turning 34. So I decided I was just gonna go down and get caught up in some soap opera stuff rather than think on that number.
Well, there you go. You actually share a birthday with The Rock.
Really?
Yes, The Rock's birthday is
Cool.
May 2nd.
Cool. That's a cool birthday twin to have. I like that.
That's awesome. All right, so happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Um, and we have a lot to go over today in
Oh,
terms
we do.
the Bay, episodes 9 and 10 of season one. But of course, let's get some programming notes, news and notes out of the way before we get into the news and notes from Bay City. As always, we are an official affiliate of the WWE shop, which is a Fanatics experience. Go over to sudsandsquaredcircle.com/wrestling merch. That has our affiliate link in the coding, and we do get commission off of anything you buy using that link. Buy this awesome Cody Rhodes shirt. I don't even know if they sell this specific Cody Rhodes shirt, but any Cody Rhodes merchandise, any WWE WrestleMania merchandise, um, and we do get commission. Help us get to some of these other places, because there's going to be a lot coming down the pike. There is an event that's being put together in San Antonio, Texas, in May of next year, 2025. That's going to be a fundraiser for a charity event including a lot of 80s wrestlers at the new Von Erich Ranch. So if you watch the whether it's WCCW or you watch the Von Erichs, or hey Nathan, welcome into the chat. How are you doing tonight? Um, or if you watched even the Iron Claw over, that came out this past winter in theaters, um, that's what the Von Erich family is all about, and that's coming down the pike in May. But there's so much other stuff that we could be attending. It's, help us out. That's or go over to uh buymeacoffee.com or patreon.com, and then both of those are slash suds and squared circle, and help us out. Also, we do have um some breaking news. WrestleMania 41 is going to be at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas next year, April 19th and 20th, which is actually Easter weekend. I don't think I'll be going, but either way, if you are able to go, the pre-sale and all that kind of deposits are starting now. So go on to www.com for all that information. Again, WrestleMania 41, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, and that's going to be April 19th and 20th, 2025. Also, tomorrow night, it was broken last night and put up on Twix tonight, or today. Tomorrow night, Tony from Pretty Prattle is going to be joining me, and we're going to be doing a special Squared Circle news episode, and that's going to be focused on the WWE Draft, Backlash, and all the other WWE news and notes that's going on right now. So that's tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on this YouTube channel. Also, Sudsy Awards news. We are getting the nominees together. I did break the category list last night. So I will go ahead and break that list again for you today and read down the list of the Sudsy Awards. The voting form in as a Google form will be released within the next couple of weeks once we get the nominees finalized. You'll have roughly a month to 6 weeks to vote. And then it'll close, and then we'll have the show actually release on Sunday, July 21st, by the time I have time to edit it all together into a presentable show. So that's that. It's always going to be pre-recorded. It's not going to be live. But either way. So here are the soap opera categories for the Sudsy Awards this year. Hero of the Year, Villain of the Year, Couple of the Year, Feud of the Year, Kiss of the Year. Christy from Suds News put out that category, so I told her she had to be the one to come up with the nominees for that, because I don't think many people really pay attention to the specific kisses. So I told her she's in charge of that. Plot Twist of the Year, Family of the Year, and last but not least, Return of the Year. For the wrestling categories, we have Babyface of the Year, Heel of the Year, Match of the Year, Faction of the Year, NXT Match of the Year. This is specifically for NXT. Attire of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Superstar of the Year, Return or Newcomer of the Year, Storyline of the Year, Shock of the Year, and Rising Star of the Year. So those are the wrestling categories. The eligibility time frame is going to be Raw after WrestleMania 39 up until WrestleMania 40. And for those of you who don't follow wrestling, that translates to April 3rd, 2023 until April 7th, 2024. So that is where that comes in. If you are watching the feed, thank you so much. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, get notified. And if you're listening on the podcast feed, which is obviously the Dockside at the Bay, its own podcast feed, go ahead and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you find your favorite podcast. All right, I think we've gone over just about all the church notes and church announcements that we have. So let's get into what's going on because we had a lot to go over
Oh
in
yeah.
the
No,
episode.
I mean, as usual, jam-packed, just constant, just jumping from one big actiony, meaty plot piece to the next really quickly. And both episodes, at least to me, flew by.
Yes.
Like just start from the from the jump. We're already the starting off, kicking everything off at the hospital, with the whole Damian situation and that whole bit. And you learn that the poor guy,
He has
he's
liver failure.
up,
Yeah.
but liver failure and that whole bit. And Judy Evans just there devastating us with just her reaction to that news and everything. And then we kind of get into the whole piece though too with Damian, as well as the and his name is escaping me, but the nurse
Yeah,
who
it's not Caleb. I can't.
no
No,
no not I want to say, is it Matthew potentially?
Matthew. Yeah,
Yeah. But we kind of, get into that scene, and we also, we just kind of see like, their relationship, and we see Damien again,
yeah.
considering the fact we haven't seen him since the first episode of this current season that we're in.
Mhm.
Now we're reintroduced to the character, and he's in this set of pretty tragic circumstances. So
Yeah. But and it seems to me like he hasn't come out as gay or bi to as
yeah, seems like that's a little bit
like
underplayed, because the fact that Matthew was able to sit in there, like, he's also in Scrubs, so just
right,
most probably just assume, oh yeah, he's just a nurse that's checking in on him, nothing
right.
to there. So
But even so, how he was kissing his hand and
yeah,
all that, it's like, and then it's like as soon as the mother comes in,
yeah,
almost like caught like a kid in a candy store or
right.
like a kid with his hand in the cookie jar getting
And
nice.
we've established too, the religious, how
Yeah,
religious Catherine is. I think it's at the close of this, like there are kind of scenes in this episode where like she and the priest, that Father Leone, are like, saying just, prayer that was, I don't know. I was raised Catholic, so I
yeah,
hear that.
me
Just
too,
kind of,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, there's definitely, just a bit of a, some tension there potentially, so as if Damien's not going through enough.
No, exactly. But either way, they're all happy that he woke up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And what's so funny is because after that we kind of jump to if I'm not mistaken, but either way, just the next part of this story is Steve Jensen in the bar, and we get John
Yeah.
Blackwell coming in, and we get that scene from basically replaying from last episode.
Yeah. We get
There,
to punch again. We get to
yeah,
see, I'm not the delivery boy, and then cut to
and then he just punches him out, gives him a left hand, and just knocks him
and then
ass
he
over tea
doesn't
kettle.
really stop with the beat down. I mean,
Oh,
Jensen tries to get that, but that is not happening.
he puts him
He
into an
just
armbar submission, kind of, holds him down and still keeps beating on him.
yeah. No, it just it gets very ugly. And then some language tossed around as well.
Yes. It's like and here's the deal is like on the bay, there's no restrictions for language as we know, but just the way that um he talks to him, like you could sense the rage and it was I'm gonna say this and the reason why I'm gonna say it, for those of you that are wrestling fans, in my opinion, the Bay is the ECW of soap operas. And the reason why I say that is back in the late 90s when Paul Heyman was running ECW, ECW pushed all the envelopes, where WWF and WCW at the time could only go so far because of the restrictions of cable and the restrictions of, everything that they had, even though the Attitude Era did, pretty well and it did push a lot of the envelopes. The ECW were, they got kicked off of numerous of their affiliate stations because they had a lesbian kiss back in the late 90s. They had male on female violence. They had, Beulah McGillicuddy got her neck broken by the Dudley Boys from a 3D. neck broken in storyline. Um, you had your first, lesbian kiss. Um, the Sandman himself was a walking stereotype, coming down to enter Sandman and, smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer. He was the blue collar everyday worker, used a Singapore cane. The Singapore cane came into effect after Michael Fay after all the news stories about Michael Fay having to be caned in Singapore for, I forgot what the crime was back then, but it was something really stupid that, and he had to get 10 lashes with the cane. So the Singapore cane ended up becoming his weapon of choice. But either way, um, without going into too much ECW history, the Bay is the ECW of soap operas. They're able to push the envelopes with the language, with they haven't done any full out porn or anything, but you can definitely
Oh.
tell.
And the like the scenes, like I mean, they'll have love scenes, obviously, but
Yeah,
it was the last one that in the previous episode, it was just like it was very tastefully, everything about it.
yeah,
It was a standard, soap love scene. It wasn't, but it was more than you've seen on like the current kind of,
yes.
I don't know, with the four main. You haven't really seen that, and obviously with the language, that's something that like they still, even with days on a streaming platform, they haven't crossed that line, and
No.
we discussed
And we
that.
talked about this already. It's not,
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat a dead horse, but
But with this, it was a little bit, his rage was just kind of like, just very hostile, just very, and he just lets Jensen have it. But then there is kind of that pivot where he gets the phone call.
yeah.
All of a sudden, it's just like, oh wait, he's awake.
Yeah, that was so I love that scene so much. That
Mhm.
was such a great scene. And Ron Moss, I'm telling you, if you could bring him and he could easily be a WWE character in terms of cutting the WWE program. Of course, he's an actor, of course, but just the way that his cadence and he was delivering, it was talking to Jensen that way. You could easily see him in the WWE, but
Yeah, but
also with the deep voice.
oh,
You can't have a high pitched voice and cutting a promo like that.
but it was just, and then just seeing Jensen also just kind of taken down a peg because he clearly is in this. I mean, he attempts to try and fight back and he just cannot. And it's just like, he ends up just getting like the crap beaten out of him. And then it's kind of nice considering he's been like kind of on a little high horse, just like, I'm superior, I'm running this town, I'm doing all this stuff. Even though he just got out of jail, he was kind of unfazed even by that whole thing. Feels like he's on top of everything. And then this guy just comes in and just totally just, even when he's like later on when the mayor asks him like, well, what happened to you?
Yeah,
And he's all like, oh, it was a bad taekwondo, you know,
yeah,
class. Because doesn't he even say that like he tells Liana when Liana finds him something like, yeah, he's like a Jedi, taekwondo, master or something
yeah.
like that, or martial arts master or something like that. And that's why I just got the crap kicked out of me and why I like look like hell and you have to pull me up off the floor.
Yeah. But Liana does come in and she kind of nurses him back to health. She gets him on a chair, gets him some ice, and
Yeah, and I love too like the timing, like when she has like he's trying to like say something like snarky or kind of weird to her, and she just kind of hits him with the ice or just kind of
yeah.
grabs, just like
That was the whole thing, was that she's because he asked her how everything is going with Lex,
Mhm.
and she's like, nowhere.
He
He,
sees me like I love the way that she phrased it, like it's not going to happen. He sees me like I am a child, and it's not like to catch a predator. It's
yeah,
like shoo fly, don't bother me. Just the way that she said that line delivery was so funny, and
oh
it's
yeah,
so true because Lex is like he just basically just was like just get out of here. You're a kid.
yeah,
I have no interest whatsoever. But then for Liana to come back, I think that he has eyes for your wife.
yeah,
But even her line to him, like, don't make me handle that rejection again.
yeah, exactly. Um, which it's I like where you have the contrast of Liana being, for all intents and purposes, a prostitute, you
Yeah.
know, and she's used to getting the guys that she wants to be
Oh
with,
yeah, just walks in
and
and
I
like,
can't handle that rejection. So you see that contrast of character in her,
yes.
that whole the whole situation that she's in.
Mhm.
Because I mean, it seems to me like, and I would love to know, and this is one question I'm going to ask Gregory when he's on the podcast. At the end of the beginning, she was working undercover for the cops.
Yes.
At the beginning of the Bay, which we know now that there is a 3-year gap, now she's working for Jensen. Is she still undercover, or is she gone full prostitute?
Yeah, you got to wonder if in that time frame, if it just became easier for her to just kind of give in, or if she is so deep undercover that we're just like, oh, well, you're a super spy, Liana. I mean, that would be kind of honestly though, I will say, like, even watching like this episode and the one prior, it's like it's all starting to come back to me, but I had like kind of I misplaced a lot of this episode. I did not remember a lot of what was playing out, which is kind of fun because
Yeah,
it's fun just revisiting something and little details come back to me, in stages, but I I honestly couldn't really remember if like, they went that route with her or not, but either way, it was kind of funny though, because like, we have this whole thing with Liana and, Jensen, and then we have a new woman come on the scene.
yes, I was just going to say that we're introduced to Joe Connors.
Yes. And
Um,
I am here to legitimize you. Like, talk about a great way to introduce a character. Like, that's just like, that says it all right there. Like, that line, just, and like her attitude and the way that she walks in the bar. Like,
mhm,
just a great introduction, so seamless. But here to legitimize you. And it's like, honey, how
right.
exactly? Look at what everything this guy has like just gotten the beaten the hell out of by somebody. This bar is dead and he is running an illegal process. Like, how are you going to make this happen? That would be an interesting kind of challenge.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it's great how she comes in, because it almost like Jensen is portrayed as being, for lack of a better term, a god, somebody who pulls the strings, is always in control.
Yeah, like a
Yet
puppet master.
now, with Joe coming in, now he's second fiddle. She's the one calling all the shots,
Oh yeah.
because she even, her first line is, "Or you'll do as I say."
Yes. Yeah. She just
Oh,
comes in and just takes, and it's kind of funny just watching like Jensen, who's kind of like, puppet mastering these women and kind of running this, like to have two women basically being the ones that are like, here, I'm the one who's like, putting ice on your face. I'm the one who's going to legitimize your business. It's like
yep.
now he's directly, which is just fun to see.
Oh, and it's great. And Matthew Ashford, man, is just fantastic in the
Can't
role.
say enough about just of, and even like in like the midst of playing just such a scumbag, he's able to just make him funny and just
Yeah,
that the humor, the charm, it's still it shines through. It's just amazing
yeah,
to me.
absolutely.
So
Um, all right, so then we end up moving on to uh Peter and Janice are out on the,
yeah,
or was that episode 10? I can't. No, it was not. It was 9. They're basically walking back to Janice's house, and
yep, and they're all flirty and cute and talking about tattoos and everything seems okay. And there's still you still have that kind of element though of her still being a little
well,
hesitant and
at this
stuff.
point she's kind of all in. While they're
Kind of all
walking,
in, but it just the way that it all kind of switches after everything takes
yeah,
place in the scene just shows that like she's trying so hard to just kind of bury it all and just be with him and forget, and no matter what it's like she can't do it. It's like something drags her back every single time, and they always wind up back at square one. But
so basically the scene basically starts as, they're kind of making out on her deck or porch or whatever,
yeah.
and then Pete gets a phone call from Daniel.
Oh, Daniel.
He's in his room, he's at the gatehouse. He's like, "Oh, I just got a beer thanks to your butler, Jeremy or Joseph, whatever the
Yeah, yeah. No, he's on a first name basis with James and
name."
tells,
Yeah.
and I love how he tells Peter that he's just like, "Yep, just sitting here courtesy of James."
Yep.
Enjoying this gatehouse, just kind of living the life, and
And apparently they haven't been in communication in years or haven't seen each other in years. So it's like, yeah, I'd love to hang out. I haven't seen you in a long time, and it's cool that you're, staying at my place. And, you know, and he's like, you could tell Pete's kind of being standoffish, and Daniel picks up on it and says, oh, so you're with a girl.
immediately just like reads the situation right away, which I love, like, and really their dynamic as like cousins, bros, best friends, all like I their dynamic is so great, and that chemistry there is just it's so much fun to watch.
But then, Daniel does tell Pete that, oh, yeah, I came with Avery and we're here for Marley.
Yeah,
And that's the secret that Marley is, that we don't know about, and may
right.
never know. Uh, but
It
Pete,
was teased to us when Avery showed up on the scene in the previous, kind of, and Sarah was totally caught unawares as to, the whole Marley thing. And now we're getting that same, from Daniel. So it's like, yeah, there's something, her name keeps on getting dropped. There's something going on there, but we're
yeah,
not entirely sure of just what yet. And then, but yeah, it's just that after, like, so, but we have it where Daniel is just kind of like, realizing, okay, yeah, you're with a girl, you're gonna do your thing, whatever. And even we've got Pete just kind of in, it can wait till tomorrow. He's kind of like on the fence a little bit, but then
yeah,
he's also just like, but he's trying to reassure Janice at the same time, like, no, but I want to be with you.
yeah.
He's a little bit a
Well,
little
because Daniel goes, oh, don't worry, I don't want to be a cock block or whatever, and
yeah.
like, oh no, never. And he's trying to reassure both of them at the same time that, yeah, I'm gonna come hang out with you, but um, you're not blocking me from anything. But yeah,
Yeah. No, there's a little on the fence moment, but and then they kind of even like talk a little bit about, I love the conversation that him and Janice kind of get into about the great grandfather and the curse. And then
yes,
and Janice is just all like, so, like he's like saying how, Senator Red Garrett, drowned in the bay. He's been haunting Bay City ever since. And she's like, so all my misfortune here is just because of a Garrett,
yes,
the Garrett curse. And then she's like, and but his saying, I loved, it was so sweet. Just, you just needed one to, like, sweep you off your feet and break the curse. And it's just such like a cute little line. It's a cute little segue. And then, like, they're making out, but then obviously that whole thing kind of gets derailed. So
yes, because they're making out, and they kind of hear sirens, and Pete's like, oh, well, we're not doing anything wrong, kind of being nosy and whatever, and all of a sudden, Will comes up,
Mhm.
and saying, oh, walks in on them making out, and it's like, tell me I didn't just see what I just saw. And
And we kind of, with the whole will exchange, we get a little bit of even backstory into, like, Pete says something along the lines of, after, Will has kind of like
yes,
in the riot act and, walked away, but also like torn Janice a new one for going out with like her daughter's ex. And, just he, like, gives his whole just kind of judgment on the situation, which is
but my question is, what was he doing there?
it's a good, it was a little bit out of the, it's like maybe he was
Like,
just like on patrol and spotted, but yeah, I was a little unsure of that myself. He just
because
kind of,
I originally thought when he came up that he was going to tell Pete about Marley, but
yeah,
because cop comes over, and okay, but then why would he go to Janice's house? You know,
yeah. I noticed that too. It was a little bit
but
strange. It's like
yeah,
he just happened to maybe be in the area and just happened to see. But yeah, I kind of assumed the same thing as well because, like, with the sirens and everything that,
yeah,
you kind of would assume based off of that. But no, he just kind of like, to basically like, yells at both of them and then
yep,
just kind of,
and it leaves.
walks off saying like, well, I'm the only one here who cares about Liana clearly, and then leaves.
Yeah,
And granted, that's a good parting shot and it's true,
yep,
but it was a little bit of a strange kind of, just given everything else that we know is going on, or,
yeah,
are aware of, you'd think that that would have been twined into that piece of it. But they did kind of have that moment though where Pete kind of explains that, like, they have known each other since high school and he's been like, going after me since then. And
right.
even when the two of them start kind of like going at it, like, you're assaulting an officer and, well, you don't know how to treat a woman. I mean, there's just there's a lot of history there,
Yes.
which we definitely see more played out with down the road with like Vivian as well. You know, not, like Liana now, but with
Oh
Vivian
yeah.
too. So setting
Um,
up for some stuff to come, you know, in that department between the two
so
of
we
them.
also have a scene that Zoe kind of gets startled because she hears her
Oh
tea
yeah.
kettle boiling.
Also kind of an abrupt, a bit abrupt, like, you know, obviously she's like, you know, just come off this whole like assault situation as well, and you know, poor thing, it's like, okay, now she's like going to be the one where like everything that can go wrong in her life is going to, like, you know, everything scary that can happen is going to happen, because she's sitting there looking like still beaten up, reeling from everything that happened previously, and then all of a sudden it's like clearly there's someone in your house who has broken in and is causing trouble.
Right. And it's like they put on a pot of tea, so you hear the tea kettle,
Yep.
and then you hear other noises, and she ends up calling the cops because
And there's also the picture frame as well.
yes,
Yep.
your frame fell and broke. So
With the
yeah,
what, I'm not mistaken, there was like writing, blood. So it looked like, you know,
that's
the
right.
picture.
Yes,
Yeah, just kind of a terrifying situation. And she obviously like, just kind of tears out of the house, you know. But it's like, oh my God, poor Zoe.
yeah. So then we come to um they also did put this other scene in that I missed the first time I watched the episode, and where Patricia Darbo's character
Yes.
comes into her house and sees her other son and
Mhm.
just starts beating him with a frying pan and just saying, why
Uh,
are you the one that's still here? I should have had an abortion, and all this
it's
other
just
stuff.
it. You know, you almost like, because that you know, in the, you know, that was in episode 10 when that scene takes place, and it's, you know, we see what's his name, Brian Gaskill playing the thug. Do we still have a name? Do we have his name yet? I
I
don't
don't
remember if we
no,
have
I
his.
don't remember.
I'm still gonna call him Blonde Thug then. Eventually we but no, it's just for a second I was just like, wait a minute, is he like in Zoe's house? Where is he? What's going on? Because they like show him like, you know, in the fridge grabbing a beer, whatever, and I'm like, were you making tea? Now you're getting a beer. For a second, I was just like, wait, did someone break back in? But then you realize, oh no. And then you see Patricia Darbo there with the pan,
Yeah,
and that scene, it's like, gosh, just like, you know, every time this poor sweet waitress who we just think is just a casual sort of like side character has been in like two super intense, crazy
yeah,
scenes, like back to back almost. Like, you know, we have it where she finds out that her one son has died, and now we found her relationship with her other son is
yeah.
clearly horrible. Not
Yeah.
great.
I
Not,
mean, tell your kid I wish I had an abortion.
I mean, that is just a very, I mean, my God. I mean, and both the actors just they just brought it in that scene. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it was incredible, but it's just, it kind of hits you out of the blue. It's another
right.
one of those just kind of like, wait a minute, what's happening? Where are we? And then all of a sudden this just intense, crazy, dramatic moment happens, and you're just like, uh, wait,
Right.
my God. Like, the devil is inside of you, and then he's like saying, go ahead and hit me, mom, go ahead, and like, and then she just like collapses on the floor and is crying for her baby, but she's crying clearly for her other son Kenneth, who has passed away. And when the mayor even finds that out, I mean, he
Now,
is like,
Bennett was Sean Cannon's character, right?
yes, because he was the mayor's, you know,
His right hand.
assistant, who
Yeah.
Sophia had wanted to set up with I think Janice's character.
Was it
I,
Janet?
I,
No,
or
it was Janet.
yeah, because she's just, oh, she'd be perfect. Like,
Yeah.
clearly Kenneth was kind of a beloved guy.
Yeah.
Now he's no longer with them, and yeah, it's but yeah, the mayor was clearly affected by that too when Sophia happens to call and let him know that whole situation too. So
Yeah. I caught that too. I was I forgot about that scene as well because that's when he's at the you know pub with Jensen and Joe, and
and that scene was an interesting little,
it really was.
I just the dynamic there is just, and I actually like went back, like, because it was quick, like their kind of, you know, conversation or whatever, but it was just like I wanted to like pick up every detail because it felt like they were kind of saying a lot in just so many words, you know. There was a lot to be said in that scene considering it was so short. But basically they have it where, you know, Jensen is trying to rope the mayor into this whole, you know, because he knows like, well, yeah. I love how he just says it so like matter of factly. He's just like, let's just put our cards on the table here. You know I'm running an illegal escort service and we know that you're sleeping with some, and the mayor is just trying to like, well, I have, you know, just trying to brush it all off, trying to
And
make
I
it
love how he kind of pulls him over and checks for a wire, as if
right.
like you're trying to set me up here somehow.
But you know it's just, and even like, you know, Steve and Joe, even before the mayor comes in the room, they're all kind of like, you know, like just remember, like, you know, you're going to be rewarded for all of this because Joe is, you know, we didn't say it, but her father was like a banking, you
Yeah,
know, titan or something like that, and she's clearly got like, you know, kind of, she's got the
kind of
capital to
business
make
acumen.
stuff happen in business and all of this stuff. And they're asking like, you know, do you think the mayor is gonna like actually like want to like play ball? Is he gonna want to like, you know, work with us and all of this stuff? And you know, they're like, if he's smart, but then like someone says, well, problem is he's not.
I know.
Or something like that. And even like when the one moment too where he asks the mayor, asks Steve, why he's in the neck brace as a result of his, you know, attack, and then, well, what about your hand? Is, which, you know,
Yeah,
courtesy of Orchid. So it's just like they're both on the same freaking like kind of scum level, you
right.
know. And they're, but at least like Steve is just kind of owning up to it, and the mayor is just trying to like kind of deny the whole thing and just kind of pretend like, you know,
He's
but
trying to politic, basically. He's
basically,
trying to,
yeah. Yeah.
he's
I'm not
trying,
aware of any of your illegal activities. I'm not
right.
aware. He says that like multiple times, but Joe really kind of comes in and course corrects, and she's just all like, well, "Your scandal's been all over the internet." And he's like, "Well, what website?" She's like, "It's just everywhere, man. Like
Yeah,
everyone knows."
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
That was just so hilarious how him, what website, where is this website, or how do you get it on the website, or something. Just something that you would really understand an older or person from an older generation not
right.
understanding technology.
Yeah.
You know,
And even when he pulls out, he's, I don't know, I noticed his phone case right away. He's got a very like white, bright blue phone. It's just like, it's kind of an atypical looking, like crazy OtterBox looking phone case. But I
right.
just glanced at that. It was just funny to me. But yeah, no, they're just, that whole conversation was just so, it was such a good exchange. It was so well written. It just set the tone for like that relationship. And again with Joe Connors, I mean, they really like just make a splash bringing her in and just have her just kind of like wheeling, dealing, dominating like from the jump, like with these, she's just like handling this whole situation. It's kind of like,
I
I don't know,
like
getting
how
like Olivia Pope and Scandal vibes
yeah.
a little bit.
But I really like how they do introduce the new characters because it's just, right. Some of them, let me put, because Avery and Daniel didn't make a big splash, but definitely with John Blackwell and,
Oh,
Joe Connors, they came in and just immediately just
yeah. It's
went
like,
right to the top.
right. And it's like you don't require a lot of like exposition to explain. They just come in and they set the tone right away for who they are and what they're there for. And it's just, it's refreshing. You don't need like, you know, a ton of, you know, you just, now they're here and now they're gonna like, you know, just bring an extra layer to the mix. But yeah, there was just, I'm looking through my notes here. Yeah, I think the only kind of thing we didn't really touch on is kind of like the big Marley question mark hanging over everybody's kind of head.
Right. Yeah, because they still haven't really said anything about Marley. Although when Lex gets called to the scene and arrives, and the first he meets up with Mac, and Mac says, oh, he gets a call that Zoe's intruder is now in the house. So he has to leave, and Lex like, go, go, go. And then he reaches the other guy who, the detective on the scene, and he's like, the fact that it was in the water for so long, and the damage from the
Yeah. The
accident.
only way we can identify is through the dental records and that whole,
Lex takes one look and immediately throws up because he knows.
yeah. No, it's just a gruesome, gruesome scene. And it was, I remember when I did see that kind of play out, like in real, I was like, wait a minute, what? They just killed her off? What?
Yeah,
Like it totally threw me. It was just like that just felt just like another thing that just like kind of hits you out of nowhere, and then you just you realize, and then of course at the very tail end of the episode they've got well, Sarah is like looking through like a photo album,
yeah,
and that's like I want to say like it's probably like at the most maternal that we've seen her,
yeah,
like because she starts talking about like it's Peter's birthday when he first came back. I'll look at this photo and there's I think
yeah.
that's probably the most maternal we've seen her yet, and she's just
Yeah,
about to find out that her
not
daughter is dead.
she's not very maternal. I mean, looking at it, from the point of view of the fans, she's not
No.
somebody. I mean, then again, theoretically, nobody in that show is, because
Yeah,
even Janice is not a great mother.
but even early on when she was in the when she was talking with Lex in the episode prior,
Yep.
she does say at one point she's like offering, we kind of overlooked that moment where he's just like, well, we'll get you through this whole thing, through this being the fact that you killed someone decades ago, but she's like
Wait a
saying
minute,
like,
they didn't say the fact that you killed somebody, because they didn't bring that out. They just said, we'll get you
oh, no, no, no,
compensation.
that's
And Sarah's like, my son is sitting in prison for a murder he didn't commit.
yeah, whereas I'm walking free,
Right. It alludes to it, but it doesn't
yeah.
come right out.
No, no, I jumped in a little bit there. Apologies. But no, I mean like, it's just like her saying that though, and then like, Lex is just trying to be like, like, Brian had nothing to do with you. But she does have the line like, maybe I would have been a better mom if I spent more time protecting my kids and less time protecting myself all these years.
Yeah. So I mean, she understands.
She does, she understands. And also, can I just say, the little kind of not even a forehead kiss, but like Lex kissed his finger and then he like presses
Yeah.
like that was just super cute. And then like he almost like boops her forehead or boops her
Yeah.
nose.
Yep.
I'm just like, that's actually super cute. And like I don't know, I the nose boop thing that just kind of took me by surprise, and I thought it was super cute in that moment. But Avery of course walks up. I don't know if she saw the nose boop, but she does hear or see
Yeah.
kind of intense looks between the two of them. And event doesn't I think Sarah even like says like, well, how much did you hear, how much did you see? And she's just straight out like, well, what's with all the secrets? I didn't hear much, but what's with all the secrets? It's
Right.
like she's got a lot of stuff, Avery.
Right.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff going on that you don't know about.
Oh yeah.
So
Um.
yeah,
Although,
but at the very end though, like, Peter, because Peter had that exchange with Lex in the driveway, and poor Pete is just saying like, what? And Lex can't even say it. He can't even bring himself to like say the words to him. But when Christos walks in though, as just like with the oh, that's such a well acted
yeah.
scene when he just walks in just looking completely devastated, like he's been crying, and Sarah sees him right away and just oof.
Yeah.
Again,
Um.
what a way to end an episode though.
Yeah. Very, very emotional.
Uh,
There was one scene that we didn't bring up, but we did get a slight flashback while
oh
Zoe's talking to the cops, and I think he said, "Well, let's take a look around the perimeter. Let's take a look around the house." And then she remembers Igor's conversation from
yes,
at
yes, yes,
the
yes.
beginning, and then she's like, "No, don't worry about it, or whatever."
Right. What was that line? Because I jotted that was yeah, an intense little. She's kind of and yeah, Igor, our
Yeah.
friend Igor, who maybe I don't remember if we get any more voiceover from him, but we don't see the dude anymore.
No,
But
that's bad. He had such potential to keep with great
right,
stories. He
I
could have
mean,
been like the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland, where it's just like it's kind of narration and the truth of everything, but yet in such a
yeah,
drama.
yeah. Honestly, though, oh, and speaking of truth and everything, we did overlook one little moment. It's when Nathan and Orchid,
Yes, yes,
when she's at the bar And I love the exchanges with the bartender. Doesn't the woman on the bottle look like me?
Yeah,
Like, I just love her character so much. She's just like, but then like Nathan comes up like kind of, and is just all, did you check out the online article? Did you check out, all of this and that whole, sort of, because they had their little kind of moment
yeah,
in the, where she's kind of working with him and working on the mayor and just kind of wheeling and dealing all of that. But it kind of tied back to, her conversation with Nathan earlier on
mhm,
when he basically is just, trying to figure out her situation and then they wind up kind of making out. And it's just that whole dynamic there is a little cozy. He's just all like, you owe me. Well, what do I owe? And then they just start. It's like, oh, okay.
because I because I think that was the exchange for Nathan to write the story on Jensen
Mhm.
is her sleeping with him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they do have chemistry, but you're also just like, is this really like how you guys are gonna settle things out or settle things up? But I'm just trying to find that one line that Zoe hears from Igor. I can't, I'm struggling to find it in my notes here. But yeah, it was just enough to like her thinking on that whole situation was just enough to spook her and get her to the point where she just doesn't want to, I can't say I blame her, but poor woman has been through a lot.
He really has, and just even just like it seems like she finally got her life together after what Brian did, and she finds out about all of Brian's garbage and stuff, and she finally gets her life together. She's back in journalism and everything, and then all of a sudden now she gets attacked. So she just can't catch a break either.
Oh, she really can't. Poor Zoe. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm having trouble finding the exact wording for it, but yeah, we did hear from Igor again, but that's
yeah,
probably the last. What I remember anyway.
yeah. I think that's it. I think we covered everything.
I think so too. But it did feel like just very dense is
Yes.
what I was looking for, just in terms of like everything that was kind of tackled.
Oh, one other part. What was this? No, I'm sorry. That's for the next episode. So,
Again, you're jumping ahead, dude. Yeah.
yeah,
Whereas I'm just like, as soon as like the, end titles roll, I'm like, okay, stopping here. Not looking to see what's happening next, even though I'm kind of aware,
right,
obviously.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Gotta steer
Uh,
clear.
but yeah, I believe that is it. We've gone through everything that was in episodes 9 and 10. Next week we'll be doing episodes 11 and 12. Um,
Oh, and I don't know. Well, now we can because it's been officially announced, but it was exciting news to read that Jordi Villasuso is going to be, I think I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, is going to be a new cast member on upcoming seasons of The Bay. That was announced, I think
yeah,
Daytime
great news for them.
Confidential and the other, which that's super exciting.
Yes, it is. And it just it's great because it's almost like the actors there's got to be some kind of a loophole. The fact that they're able to work, like for example, Mary Beth Evans could work on this show while also being on contracted days.
Right,
Um,
right.
and same thing with Tristan Rogers. Now Tristan Rogers recurs on both day days, no Y&R.
Oh, I didn't realize he did Y&R as well.
Well, I haven't watched in a while, and when I was watching, I didn't see him. But yeah, he does recur on GH, and he does have a role on YNR.
Gotcha.
Um,
Kind of
so
like Wally Kurth having a little
right,
overlap between a couple
exactly.
of roles. Yeah, there must be some, within the contracts and things like that. But yeah, no, it's just exciting to see other soap folks that we know getting in, mixed up in the bay.
Exactly. And mixed up is the correct terminology for it because it really is. Uh, but I will say that this show is getting better and better. The writing, the directing, you get to understand why they've won so many Emmy awards,
Absolutely.
daytime Emmys, I should say. But the fact is that it's going to keep getting better. Like I said, next week we'll be going over episodes 11 and 12 of season one, and that's pretty much it. So, you have any final thoughts on these two episodes?
I think we tackled these, pretty much everything, like, very intent. I will say, it was kind of with the Marley twist well, not the twist,
Right.
'cause but at the very end when they say, well, we found like wedding bands, matching wedding
Yeah.
bands. It's like just another kind of
Was
bittersweet.
it where she and Manny went to elope?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
Sure.
that's what I took from it, and it's just like a romantic, sad little detail that they had tacked on, and it's just like I had forgotten that, like like her character is just after this point, no more, and it's just like for some reason I thought that happened later in the season, like down the road a ways,
Right.
and it doesn't. No, it's just but the show's not afraid to go there, and just not afraid to like make twists like dramatic twists like that happen, and so. But yeah, no other real thoughts about the episodes. I have a lot more thoughts. Well, not thoughts, but just really cool. I'm still kind of flying high from the whole weekend.
Well,
It
that's good. I'm glad, and keep that natural
was,
high going. Uh,
yeah, it was a lot
well,
of fun,
well,
great experience, and like I said, any opportunity you have to go and like attend one of these, some events for Samantha's friends, it's soap operas and it's dogs and it's, charity and it's lovely. And it's just, I highly recommend if you have the opportunity to get to Sarasota, Florida, get to hang out there where it was 90 degrees and humid. And then I came back to Chicago. It was 70 degrees and a little bit more pale. My hair enjoyed the weather a lot more when I got back home than I
well, there you go. Nobody's hair likes humidity. That's why I don't have to think about it. But oh well. All right, so we are out of time, folks. This is Dockside's Bay. This is Kim. I'm Vinny. Again, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, get notified. If you're listening on the podcast feed, go ahead and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere else that you find your favorite podcasts. Go over to sudsandsquared.com. That's where you can find anything to do with Suds in the Squared Circle, Suds News, Squared Circle News, and Dockside at the Bay. Again, we are officially an affiliate for WWE Shop, which is a Fanatics experience. Go ahead and go to sudsandsquaredcircle.com/wrestling merch. That does give you the affiliate link. And anything you buy through that link gives us a commission of, whatever you buy, commission percentage. Again, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on the YouTube channel you're watching, special edition of Squared Circle News. I'm going to be joined by Tony from Pretty Prattle. And we'll be going over the WWE draft, and every other thing to do with WWE. Stay tuned to our Twix account, which is at Suds SQ Circle Pod, for all information coming up about the Sudsy Awards. And I do want to announce that Candace from Take Two Radio Soaps and Review has also joined on as a presenter and is part of the nominee group. So thank you for Candace coming on. And we have a who's who lineup of presenters and of presenters for the Sudsy Awards. Besides Kim, Christy, and myself, we've also got the Matt and Kat from the 10th floor. We've got Max Updates GH. We've got Tony and Angela from Pretty Prattle. I'll get that right at some point. We've also got David from Take Two Radio Soaps and Review. We've got Candace from Take Two Radio Soaps and Review. We have former co-host of the GH Mini Spotlight. We have Lucretia Lyons that will be a presenter this year. We have the current co-host of the B&B and Y&R Mini Spotlight, Amanda Russ, will be presenting. And we've also got the guys over from Chair Shot Sports. And if you listen to we've also got Flobo Boyce, who's going to be presenting this year. And if you listen to the Jim Cornette Experience or Jim Cornette Drive-Thru, you will know this name, Charlie from Starkville, Mississippi. He will also be a presenter this year for the Sudsy Award. So we have a who's who of fandom and podcasting that are going to be presenters for this year's Sudsy Awards. It's getting bigger, and this is only the second annual. So keep an eye out. Again, we're just about out of time now. Remember, the Bay is is streaming on. All right, let's see. The Bay the Beginning is on Amazon Prime. and I believe I'm not sure, and maybe Tubi TV.
And Tubi
And
as well. And then Peacock for
seasons
season
one
one.
through six is on Peacock. Seasons 1 through 8, part one, is on Tubi, and Amazon Prime has oh heck? um oh okay, I'm sorry. Did you blank out on me?
No, I'm still here.
Okay, my TV just decided to go
Oh dear.
haywire.
Oh
Uh,
dear.
okay, so now I'm weird.
I can still hear you.
Yeah, sorry folks, I just had my Roku TV that I use as a monitor is it's going crazy now. I did it.
Like it's trying to tell us that we're running out of time.
Yeah, like literally my Roku TV just restarted. There we go. Yeah, it literally just restarted on me because I have two monitors set up and one of them went haywire.
Oh,
Anyways, okay. So I'm back. I mean, I don't think I ever left, but just on. But anyways, so we are out of time. For Kim, I'm Vinny. We will see you next week sitting dockside.